Hello and welcome to another part of this chapter, numerical analysis. In this part we shall learn about bisection method to find a real root of a transcendental equation. Suppose this fx equal to 0 is the given transcendental equation and we have to find one real root of this equation by the method of bisection method. So to find this root we shall use one theorem, and that theorem states that if a function fx is continuous in a closed interval ab and if fa into fb is less than 0, that means if fa and fb these two have opposite signs, then there exists a real root of the equation fx equal to 0 between a and b. That means if we know that a function fx is continuous in a closed interval ab and fa and fb have different signs, then the equation fx equal to 0 has a real root between a and b. And using this theorem, we shall find one real root of this equation fx equal to 0 by using bisection method. Bisection method is the easiest method to find a real root of a transcendental equation. This method always converges. For that, we have to find one sufficiently small interval a to v where there exists one real root of the equation fx equal to 0. So to find one real root of this equation fx equal to 0, we have to find one interval, actually closed interval a to v, such that fa and fb these two have different sign, so that fa into fb this is less than 0. So if we somehow find this closed interval a to b, that means the root of this equation fx equal to 0 lies between a and b. So there exists at least one real root of the equation fx equal to 0 between a and b, since fx is continuous and fa and fb have different signs. So we do not exactly know the real root, but we have to find one approximation of this root between a and b. Now the first approximation we shall use here is the average between a and b. We know that the root lies between a and b, so we assume that the first approximation is, suppose we call it c1, which is a plus b by 2. So this is our first approximation. Now we have broken the closed interval a to b into two equal parts. One is from a to c1 and the next one is from c1 to b. Now it is given that fa and fb have different sign. Now we have already found one approximation of the real root, which is c1. Now two cases may arise. Either fc1 is 0 or it is non-zero. If fc1 equal to 0, then this c1 is the required root. But if fc1 is non-zero, then two cases may arise. Either fc1 is greater than 0 or fc1 is less than 0. In either case, we shall find that either fa and fc1 or fb and fc1 have different sign. So two cases may arise. Either fa into fc1 these must be negative, or fb into fc1 these must be negative. As we know that fa and fb have different sign, so fa into fb less than 0. Now we have found one approximation of the real root. So either fa and fc1 will have different sign, or fb and fc1 will have different sign. Now if fa and fc1 have different sign, then the next interval which we shall use is a to c1. But if fb and fc1 these two have different sign, then the next interval which we shall use is c1 to b. So in either case we shall find one new interval. the new interval will be denoted by A1 to B1, such that FA1 and FB1 have different sign. So starting from this interval A to B, we have found one new interval A1 to B1, which is a subset of this interval, such that the real root lies between A1 to B1. So this interval may be this interval or maybe this interval. So now we know that the real root lies between A1 to B1, such that FA1 and FB1 have different sign. Next, we shall break this interval A1 to B1 into two equal parts by this point. Suppose we call it C2, which is A1 plus B1 by 2. Now, this interval A1 and B1, this has been broken into two equal parts by this point C1, which is A1 to C2. This is the first interval, and C2 to B1. This is the second interval. And we know that FA1 and FB1 have different sign. Now, two cases may arise. Either FC2 is equal to 0 or FC2 is not equal to 0. If FC2 is equal to 0, then this is the exact root of the equation. So that completes the solution. But if FC2 is not equal to 0, then again two cases may arise. Either FC2 is greater than 0 or FC2 is less than 0. So in that case, we shall find either FA1 and FC2 have different sign, or FB1 and FC2 have different sign. One of these two cases must happen. Since FA1 and FB2 have different sign, so either FA1 and FC2 will have different sign, or FB1 and FC2 will have different sign. So if FA1 and FC2 have different sign, then we shall use this interval as the next interval. Otherwise, we shall use this interval as the next interval. So in any way, we shall find one new interval, which is we call it A2 to B2. So this interval is a subinterval of A1 B1. So now we have found that the real root lies between A2 and B2. So continuing in this way, in subsequent steps we shall find new intervals, suppose A3 B3 A4 B4, in such a way that the real root lies within this interval, and the length of this interval becomes smaller and smaller. So continuing in this way, ultimately we shall find better approximations of the real root which lies between A and B. Now this process continues until we get the approximate root correct up to desired order of accuracy. Now suppose it is given that we have to find the real root which is correct up to 4 decimal places, then we shall continue this process until we get the approximate root which is correct up to 4 decimal places. So this is the working formula of this bisection method. Now next we shall give one example how to find a real root of a transcendental equation by using bisection method. Let us consider this example. Find a real root of the equation x cube minus 9x plus 1 equal to 0 by bisection method correct up to 3 decimal places. So in this problem we have to find one real root of this equation fx equal to 0, where fx equal to x cube minus 9x plus 1, which is correct up to 3 decimal places. So for that, initially we have to find one closed interval where the function fx is continuous and it has different sign at the extreme points of the interval. So for that we first find f1. Now we find that f1 equal to 1 minus 9 plus 1, which is minus 7. Now we find f2. Now f2 is equal to 8 plus 1 9 minus 18. So it is minus 9. Now we find f3. Now here we find that f3 equal to 27 plus 1 28 minus 27. So which is 1. So here we have found that f2 is negative and f3 is positive. So we have found one interval between 2 and 3 such that f2 and f3 have different sign. So by this well-known theorem, we can conclude that one real root of this equation fx equal to 0 lies between 2 and 3. So initially our interval is between 2 and 3, and here we have found that f2 is negative, so this is negative, and f3 is positive, so this is positive. Now let us find this real root by using bisection method, which is correct up to 3 decimal places. So in the first case we shall find xn plus 1, which will be the first approximation of the real root. Now the formula, this is an plus bn by 2, which is the average between the lower limit and upper limit, which is 2 plus 3 by 2, which is 5 by 2, that is 2.5. Now this is the function fx equal to x cube minus 9x plus 1. Now we shall find the functional value of this function at the point 2.5. Now if we put x equal to 2.5, then using the calculator we can easily find that this value will be minus 5.875, which is negative. That means the functional value at 2.5 is negative. So by the bisection rule we find that f2 and f2.5 have the same sign, but f2.5 and f3 have the different sign. So in the next step we can conclude that the root lies between 2.5 and 3. So in the next step we shall use the interval which is between 2.5 and 3. Next we shall find xn plus 1, which is the average value of an and bn, that is the average value of 2.5 and 3. Now we can easily find that this is 2.75, which is 3 plus 2.5 by 2. Now we shall find the functional value at this point 2.75. If we put x equal to 2.75, then we shall find that this functional value is minus 2.953 approximately. So again we have found that the functional value at the point 2.75 is negative. So we have found that f2.75 and f3, these two have the different sign, because f2.75 is negative and f3 is positive. So the functional values at 2.75 and 3 have different sign. So in the next step we shall use this interval between 2.75 and 3. So this is our next interval, and we shall find xn plus 1, which is the average of these two values. So using the calculator we can easily find that this is 2.875. Again we shall find the functional value at this point 2.875, which is we can easily obtain by calculator. This is minus 1.111. Again this is negative. So the functional values at f2.875 and f3 have different sign. So in the next step we shall use this interval 2.875 to 3. Now if we find the average between these two values, we shall find that it is 2.9375, and if we find the functional value, it will be minus 0.090. So again this is negative. So the next interval will be 2.9375 2.937523 and the average will be 2.9688 approximately. Now if we find the functional value at this point 2.9688, it will be 0.447. Now this is positive. So here we have found that f 2.9375 and f 2.9688, these two have the different sign, but f3 and f 2.9688, these two have the same sign. So in the next step we shall use this interval between 2.9375 to 2.9688. So the next interval we shall use here is 2.9375 to 2.9688. So this will be our next interval, since FAN and FBN have different sign in this case. Now we shall find the average, which will be 2.9532. So it will be 2.9532 approximately. Now if we find the functional value at this point, we can find that the functional value is 0.177 approximately. So this is again positive. So in the next step we shall use this interval between 2.9375 to 2.9532. So this will be our next interval, and if we compute the average, then it will be 2.9454. So this is our average, and if we find the functional value, then it will be 0.044, which is again positive. So in the next step, the next interval will be between 2.9375 and 2.9454, and the average will be 2.9414. So this method will continue. The same procedure we shall use here. So you can easily find the next values. I have already computed all these values, so I am just putting all these values here. You can easily find these values by using the calculator. Now we have completed the table here. We have computed up to the 11th step. Now the question is, how long we shall compute this table? For that we have to check the question. Now in the question it is given that find the root correct up to 3 decimal places. Now in this table, this column of xn plus 1, this gives the approximations of the root. So these are successive approximations of the root. So we shall stop computing this table once we find that two successive values of xn plus 1, these are equal correct up to 3 decimal places. Now if we check the approximate root at the 10th step, then we find that it is 2.9429. So if we round it up to 3 decimal places, then it will be 2.943, because at the 4th decimal place it has 9, which is greater than 5. So this root correct up to 3 decimal places is 2.943. Now check this value at the 11th step. So in the next step, if we round it up this root up to 3 decimal places, then again it will be 2.943, because the next value is 6, which is greater than 5. Now here we have found that two successive approximations of xn plus 1 are equal at the 10th and 11th steps, which are 2.943 correct up to 3 decimal places. So this is our required root correct up to 3 decimal places. So if we find that two successive approximations are equal correct up to desired order of accuracy, then we shall stop computing this table, and that value will be the approximate root of this equation. So in this problem, we have found that the root which is correct up to 3 decimal places is 2.943. So here we write the root which is 2.943. So this is the required root correct up to 3 decimal places. So that completes the solution. So in bisection method, remember that this method is always convergent if the function fx is continuous in a closed interval a to b and if fa and fb have different signs. So in this part we have discussed about bisection method. In the next part we shall discuss about fixed point iteration method to find a real root of a transcendental equation. So see you in the next part. Until then, thanks for watching.